We live in an era where you're one video, one tweet, one mention, one song away from changing your life. And then just blowing up and acting like you don't know nobody. But it's sad to say, and maybe a little bit controversial to say, artists probably should never blow up. At least for the sake of the art and the mental well-being of the artist. But for the sake of your pockets, I guess, yeah, go ahead. Of course, I'm speaking in a perfect world, because I'm going to deal with a little bit of mental warfare to get my next dollar too. I think we all would. But is it really a necessity? Let's talk about it. What is blowing up? Going from 0 to 100, or maybe 5 to 100, 10 to 100, whatever. At the extreme, it's just an artist that doesn't have a fully developed sound yet, a respected catalog, or just a fan base to pull from that isn't majority people in their city. They don't have a developed team. They don't have an understanding of how the industry really works. And, they go from that to an overnight sensation because, they drop some content that either really resonated with people or it's getting memed to death. Either way, the music is now in rotation and all eyes are on them. That's really what I'm talking about here. And again, I'll make a distinction. Not to say that people shouldn't, aim to blow up or shouldn't try to be successful. It's just there's a lot more that comes with it than you know, and that's why a lot of people end up where you don't want to be. We live in an age where platforms like TikTok have the power to catapult artists into instant fame. All it takes is a catchy video, a nice little dance, a couple of memes, any and everything, honestly, can take you from a brand new artist to Billboard charting. And as a producer, I know just how lovely the idea of, blowing up one day and having your life change overnight sounds. But rapid success is not all it's cracked up to be. They never lie when they said how quick you get it is how quick you lose it, especially when you're not prepared. With the speed of viral fame comes a whole lot of pressure and expectations that a lot of people are not ready for. The same platform that launched you into stardom makes it so much harder for you to have a good career. Developing a sound, it takes time, it takes experience, it takes collaboration, it takes experimentation. And artists that have that, overnight quote unquote blow up are usually lacking this. A few of them have done some of the groundwork, but not enough to really make themselves stick. And that's not to say that they don't have the ability to get there. But getting there in the public spotlight makes everything just a little bit harder. Instead of honing their craft and, experimenting and learning while they're still broke and, not that many eyes on you, now every song that you drop is held to a certain standard. And you end up dropping songs that you may or may not have kept in the vault if you really had time to develop more, more music, better music. This lack of foundational growth can lead to just the sound feeling inconsistent. They're unsure of themselves. So of course the music is not sure of itself. Which is why we see so many people blow up on TikTok and then never make anything like that again. Or God's on your side, you blow up and then you end up getting a good team and you just end up signing a great deal where they push you anyway. The music itself still suffers and we all see that you suck, but at least we can attach to your personality, or maybe, you got a fat ass, so we just ignore everything else that's bad about you. And some people would not complain. For those who love it more than money though, that's not where you'd want to be at. With this new fame comes a lot of pressure from fans, labels, and the media. And these new stars are under a lot of pressure to replicate that same viral success again and again. But the problem here is they don't actually have the formula. Some people do though, like a Tommy Richman or a Shabuzi. You can see the work that's been put in. You've seen the audience being built in real time, and then you see the pop. They had the industry relationships, they built the management, they built the team. It made sense. And overall, they developed a sound way before that first song went up. Even with that though, they're still not exempt from the allegations. The industry plant allegations, or even worse, the "why is this guy here" allegations.
If you're someone that likes this song, you are a clown.
What song you talking about, Flex?
This song I don't know what the rest of his songs sound like. I don't even know who Tommy Richman is. It sounds like a shoe store.
All this is not to say that nobody can rise to the challenge, but sadly, on average, they do not. But I feel like in a perfect world, given the time, they probably could have. But they were thrown into the fire, so to speak. And some of you might say, hey, if you couldn't rise to the challenge, you weren't meant to be. But I don't really feel like that. I just like the art. So I would love to see more developed versions of every single artist that we have out right now. Because at times I'm listening to the music and I'm just like, how did this make it past so many A&Rs? But, you know, when you think from a finance perspective or just trying to get a dollar's perspective, it makes sense. Not everybody is as invested in the art side of it as someone like me or you, and that's just the breaks. Dealing with widespread expectations and developing an actual sound are both things that come from having built an actual fan base. A loyal fan base is built over time through consistent interaction, engagement, or development of a persona that people just want to know more about, something they can relate to. The guys nowadays are trying to build an aura. Or some people just have that personality where they're everybody's friend and people just want to see you win. But artists that pop, without any groundwork put in, they make it a lot harder on themselves to build that fan base. Because the fans that come from a viral hit leave just as fast to the next viral hit. You have the opportunity to, build it bit by bit, but unless you're making music that caters to the same wide audience that you hit at first, it's quiet for you. But those that have built the loyal fan base at core and then pop, it's a super cheat code. They can go back and attach to older music, and there's a group of people with enough social proof that, okay, this guy is good. Look at Forbats. Although he does have the correct team, the industry knowledge, the expectations are still what's drawing him. And the lack of the fan base, of course. You can see the Billboard articles calling his music unlistenable or whatever they said. And the regular flyby fans turned on him the second the music started sounding a little bit different. When you don't have a lot of catalog, people want to hear the same song over and over again, just better every time. And it's very hard to feed that need. But honestly, I believe he can figure it out.
He seems to be having a hard time following that track up with something that is even half as interesting. So yeah, this thing is underwhelming. It's pointless. It's rushed. It is lacking in depth.
We talked about lack of time, development, fan base, but even still, there's just a lack of industry knowledge in general. Like, imagine you're a 17 to 21-year-old kid. You make a couple of songs, and then one of them pops and people are putting contracts in front of you. The music industry is a treacherous place, as a lot of us know. And new artists that rise to fame typically don't have enough understanding to navigate it correctly. And unless you're savvy enough or lucky enough to get somebody who does and won't, steal from you, you might end up in some bad deals and bad situations, which only make your experience much worse. Really think about all the artists that you've seen pop out of nowhere over the last couple years on social media or wherever else. What percentage of them actually, one, followed up with good music, and two, stuck around for more than a couple of months? We're cycling new people in and out. And it's really representative of the idea that it's not that they can't make good music, it's that they don't have the ability to repeat it. At some point, it was good. It's just they came in the game a little bit too early. Pause. And then fall into the many, many pitfalls of entering the music industry unprepared. Now, this is not to discourage anybody from trying to pop overnight. Please still do. It's more of a, think about your situation while you do it. Like, at least try to develop yourself as an artist. Don't worry about trying to make it immediately. You can still do that content, jump in the harbor, slap a grandma, play your song in a giant, whatever you do to try to pop, but spend the same amount of time actually trying to create a sound, trying to throw shows, trying to be seen in public, build something. Just work on everything else that comes with it, because that is also very useful. But I guess, who am I? It's enough what I think. What do you think?